Welcome back to the Vulnerability School podcast. I am so happy to have you here again. And today we are doing part 2 of my ayahuasca recap. So if you have not listened to part 1, go listen to that, okay? I don't even know how I can share all of this. There's for sure going to be a part 3. But yeah, just so many good insights. It was life-changing, and I just have been going over all my notes, watching all the videos I recorded today, and it just was such a beautiful, life-changing experience, and I truly am a different person. So let's jump right in. The last episode, I kind of explained just a little snippet because I only had 17 minutes to record. So I just kind of got into the general ideas and how my main theme of the whole trip was the magic is in you. We have the answers that we need. Something I didn't talk about in the first episode was kind of how another part of the cleanse that they have you do, when you get there, you go do a colon cleanse. You do 2 different colon cleanses. You have a full body massage. They really prepare you to be so relaxed and so present. And so we did these colon cleanses, and it just completely clears you out. You just stick this little tube up your butt, and it sticks water in you, and it just completely cleans you out for 45 minutes. And I know that's why are you sharing that, Jenna? But everything is shared here. So, but it was so beautiful. I literally got home and I bought my own colon cleansing kit. And so that's my new venture. Yeah. So they really cleanse you. You get a massage. You're just really feeling connected to yourself, but also nervous. And so we don't have a ceremony the first day, don't have one the second day. And I did a breathwork session, which I talked about in the first episode. And the breathwork session was my start of realizing that I really needed to be there. We did the breathwork. So many emotions came out for me. The first day I felt so anxious and just so nervous, and was really being shown that I needed to do this, that I needed to take a bigger step in my life to help me heal. And yeah, so that just came out in the breath work, and I just felt so connected to myself, and just a little bit uncomfortable too, because I was just this sucks and this is hard already. But yeah, so then I woke up the next day after breath work. We went and did yoga, and then I had to say goodbye to the first group that was there. They left, and then because it was their last day. And then I just that day was kind of a blur. I took a ton of notes while I was listening to all my stuff because I knew I was going to forget everything. I did a get ready with me video, get ready with me to go do my first ayahuasca ceremony. But I actually said, get ready with me to do my first ayahuasca ceremony. I said ceremony because I was literally so scared. I said ceremony, which is so fitting, and it was perfect. So, went to my first ceremony. I got all ready, and I was just trying to be present, taking deep breaths, but the OCD anxious thoughts were just coming in. But when I started walking over to, it's called the Maloka. It's this sacred, beautiful building where we do our breath work. We do the different sessions, and all the shamans gather there. We do yoga in there, and we just do these little things to really help us connect with ourselves. But the biggest thing obviously is the ceremonies. So I start walking over there, and I'm feeling the nerves, and I'm feeling anxious, but then I just kind of had this sense of peace come over me, and I started feeling more excited for the ceremony. We get in there, and I'm just feeling connected to myself. I'm feeling okay. And everyone sits down. Everyone has their own mattress. So there's a mattress, there's a bucket, and then you can go get a cup of water. You can drink water up until you drink the tea. And so everyone's drinking water. Everyone's a little anxious, just what are we doing? Kind of scattered. And there's a shaman at the front, and there's I would say 25 shamans in the ceremony room, and they're all just sitting in these chairs. I'll upload photos, so make sure to look out for those. There's these shamans just sitting in these chairs against the wall, and we all sit down. We're at our mattress. You have your pillow, and then you have a blanket, and then they give you an eye mask to put over your eyes when the ceremony starts. And so we all sit on our mattresses, and then the shaman calls us up, and she kind of just talks to us and tells us what to expect. We go over the intention for that day, which is show me who I've become. Everyone has a general intention, and that's just kind of how the program works, and it's incredible. So the intention for that day was show me who I've become. So everybody goes, and we listen to her speak. I cannot remember what she said. I think I was so nervous that I blurted it all out, but she gave us some really good advice, I'm sure. And so then she's like, hey, everybody go back to your mattresses. And then they turn down the lights, I'm pretty sure. And by the time we go in there, it's 5:30, but by the time we're drinking the medicine, it's 6:30, or by the time she's talking, it's 6:30. And then we drink the medicine, I would say maybe at 7. That could be totally off, but that's just what I'm thinking. you have to be silent. Everyone has to be silent. They do like an hour of silence. And so everyone's silent. And then they say, okay, come up and drink the tea. And then they form 2 lines because the men are on one side of the room and the women are on the other side. They don't like combine it just because the feminine and masculine energy, they want to separate it, which is kind of cool. And so there's all the men on one side, which I'm really happy about. We'll get into this, but when they're throwing up, it's like so heavy and so loud that I'm just like, yes, stay over there. And so, we separate and then we go into the lines to get the medicine. It's just like everyone's lined up and the shaman is there. There's 2 shaman. Like the shamans put the tea into like a pitcher type of thing. And then they put like a ladle in, scoop it out, and then pour it into your shot glass. Everyone has like a Rythmia shot glass that you drink your tea out of. So you go up there, you repeat your intention in your head. They give you your tea. So you close your eyes, repeat your intention in your head, and then you drink the tea, which honestly, like it was bitter. And I think the thing I was most nervous about going into the ceremony was like the tea, actually drinking it. But because I hate anything bitter. Like it's so hard for me to drink, but I just drank it. And then I was like, oh, that actually was not as bad as I thought. And it tastes different for everyone, just like everything does. And it was like gross, but it kind of tasted like chocolate in a really weird way, but also like a prune juice, like bitterness. And then it's kind of thick. So yeah, drank that. And then I was like, okay, like I'm feeling okay. And then, so we drink the tea and then I walk back to my spot and I'm just thinking, show me who I've become. This is my intention. And I went into it like really open-minded, like, please, like, yes, show me the dark, show me the scary. I am here for this. Like I am open to receive, because if you're not open to receive, you will not receive, from my understanding. But yeah, I went to it just so open to receive. And I just felt like a lot of chaos in my brain, like so many thoughts of like, what are you doing here? Like my OCD was just like heightened so high. Okay. And so I was like just feeling crazy in my brain. And I just lay down and the medicine hasn't hit me yet. And everyone's laying down. It's just silent, which you think would be kind of awkward. But my friend Brittany warned me about this. So I knew it was going to happen, luckily. But yeah, we're all just sitting there in silence. Everyone's kind of like looking around. Some people have their mask on and we're just waiting for the medicine to hit. So then when the medicine starts hitting, it is like a symphony of people throwing up. And luckily I already knew this going into it. So I wasn't like triggered when that happened. But yeah, it's just like boom, 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 boom. And you just kind of like accept it. And then it wasn't hitting me yet. So like I just waited till they called second cup. I think they call the first cup, the second cup. And then if you want a cup after that, you have to go up and ask them. But they like, you can't take one like right after another. You have to wait until it's like the timing. And like the shamans are just so in tune. So like if you go up there to get a cup and you're not ready, they'll like sense it and then we'll give you a cup. So I go up to get my second cup because I'm not totally feeling it. And then we like go sit down. It's actually like such a sacred, beautiful experience. Like everyone's just in it together. They want you to wear lighter clothes. So I just like wore light, comfy, cute. Not cute, actually, just like chill, comfy clothes. And yeah, everyone's dressed the same. And we're all just like, oh, yeah. I start hearing people throw up and I'm just kind of like, oh, crazy. So like, is the medicine going to hit me or like, what's going on here? And so, yeah, my OCD is just going and going and going. And they have like these specific questions that they will ask you. And like, it kind of feels like a blur because I am on the medicine. Oh, I wanted to add, when you drink the medicine, it like, how it feels is like you, especially in the beginning, you feel a little bit drunk, like just like, whatever you imagine when you think about being drunk, it's just kind of like, ooh, like, okay, like you feel a little bit weird. Like you can walk, but you're kind of like, well, where am I? So, and that's what they call it being drunk. And so, yeah, it kind of hit me and I was just like feeling these super bad thoughts, like just like I do feel in my normal life already. Like I was feeling a little drunk, but nothing, I wasn't having visions. I wasn't having like, they say you have like consultas, like a talk with Mother Ayahuasca, or you have visions, or some people just go into a deep sleep and like your trauma is being processed while you're asleep. And like people have these crazy things and nothing was happening. I'm just like spiraling so bad with my OCD and I'm like so uncomfortable, but I just kept thinking like, I am open to receive. I am open to receive. I'm just laying in my bed with my hand on my heart. And I put my hands on my legs because I'm like, I have to be in the best position for the medicine to hit me in the right way. Like, yeah, my OCD was thriving if you didn't get that. Okay. I need to talk to people about my problems. Like if I don't, especially with my OCD, I'll just spiral. So I just called one of the shaman over. I was just like, can you come like talk to me? And they ask you these 4 specific questions and hopefully I get them right. This is just off the top of my head. But the first question is, how are you feeling? And so I'm like chaos in my head. And then the second question is, how does this make you feel or something? And then like obviously chaotic and sad that like I feel this way. And then the third question was, do you feel this in your normal life? And I was like, literally every day, like this is my whole life. And then the fourth question, when do you first remember feeling this way? And that once you ask those 4 questions is usually when the medicine kicks in. So the shaman's talking to me, she's asking me these 4 questions. And the intention for this day to remind you is like, show me who I've become. So I'm trying to figure out who I've become. Okay. And a lot of people like, especially like the men that were there maybe cheated on their wives, or like these people that have these crazy traumatic experiences too, like, or they don't treat people well, or they're really negative, like that just comes up for them. And for me, which is so funny because I have a friend, Lindsay, she got me this bracelet one day and it literally said chaos on it. And I was like, or it said chaotic or something. And I'm like, I'm offended. But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like, okay, yeah. And then in this session, I thought about that and I was like, she was so right. She is so right. Like my brain is complete chaos. And so, which is so fun because I'm all over the place and I'm doing all these crazy things all the time, but also just can't live like this, you know? And so, yeah, I was like, oh, I've definitely felt this in my life. And sorry, looking back at my notes, because there's just so many things that I want to say. I just kept saying like, my heart is open. I will sit in this. And then one of the shaman, he said this actually on a different day, which I'll go through every day, but he said, every breath that you breathe is more important than every thought that you think, which I think about every single day because that is so true. And I just completely spiral all the time. And so now it's helped me so much in my actual life now because I always think that every breath that you breathe is more important than every thought that you think. And then I had a friend before this, Dave, who introduced me to ayahuasca and told me about it and the reason that I went there. And he told me like, every time you're feeling so in your head, just connect back to your heart. So I'm just like still so chaotic in this. Even after that shaman came and talked to me, she's like, just lay down and like sit with yourself. And I was just like, oh my gosh, okay. So I'm just like, I'm open to receive. I'm open to receive. I'm connecting to my heart center. But I was literally thinking so much that I feel like I was not even letting the medicine come in because my brain was so chaotic. But how do you just stop that, you know? And then I'm breathing deep and then I'm thinking I'm breathing in the wrong way. Like it was just wild. And then I'm trying to think really like when the medicine like actually hit and I had these breakthroughs, but I cannot remember the specific moment. Somehow I broke through. And something that I realized is that the medicine speaks to you in your own way. A lot of people say that like ayahuasca, it's like mother ayahuasca, like you're connecting to her, like this goddess, which I believe, but I didn't experience that. I was completely talking to my higher self the whole time. And it was beautiful. Like in the last episode, I talked about how like the magic is in us and that we need to connect to ourselves to really connect with our higher power and to connect with God or whatever your idea is of God and, you know, this higher power. And yeah, I just really felt that. And like, it was speaking to me in my own language because I feel like it was me. I was speaking to my higher self. It was truly the most beautiful experience that I have ever had in my whole life. And a lot of people, I asked like, do people have questions on my story? And like majority of the people said like, how does it compare to mushrooms? And I've done several like spiritual healing mushroom sessions to help me process trauma and stuff. And mushrooms are so beautiful. This felt a lot more sacred. I was in a very special environment, like so sacred. People have the best intentions. There's these shamans that have been preparing for years to be there with me. Like it was just way more sacred and beautiful. And I just felt like Mother Ayahuasca or my higher self was fully able to connect with me because I was so clean and ready. Another thing I want to point out is I prepared so much for this. I was doing breath work every single day leading up to this trip. I was eating really healthy. I took everything to the extreme because of my OCD. And I was just like, I wanted to be so prepared for this. Like I just needed this so bad. So I wanted to fully be ready to receive. And I tried my very hardest. And I don't remember exactly what the first thing that like really hit me was, but I do remember feeling for the first time in my whole life, like I have always been seeking validation in my life from one specific person and I've never received it. And I've never really felt like that person was proud of me. And that's hard. That's really hard. And I realized that like, I don't need it from that person. And I felt for the first time in my life, I felt this overwhelming sense that I was proud of myself. I was so proud of who I've become. And it's not like everyone's like, you need to be proud of yourself. But I truly, it's like I was looking at myself from a different perspective. And I was so insanely thrilled with everything that I've done, who I've become. Before I'd done this, and I talked to my friend Dave, I'm literally talking about him so much because he changed my life. But he told me every blade of grass is tilted in your favor. And when he told me that, I was like, yeah, okay, like whatever. And every time I see grass, I'm like, you're tilted for me, baby. But it wasn't like, it really didn't hit me. But when I was in the medicine, I just had a vision of every single experience I've had in my whole life and how it has brought me to exactly where I need to be. The hardest stuff that I experienced in my childhood, the stuff that I continually experience now, and just so many things that I've experienced in my life and how hard it's been. I just had this connection of truly every blade of grass is tilted in your favor. And I am extreme. If you know me, I'm extreme. Like I write in my journal every single day. I write 10 things I'm grateful for. I write my affirmations every single day. I've been doing it for like 4 years and I'm very committed to it. And I've always been committed to it. And I've seen it play out in my life, especially because I feel like when you're writing these affirmations and manifestations, it's on your mind. So it's easier to come to you. But in that moment, I was like, holy shit, everything I have ever manifested is coming into my life. Like that actually works. I believed it before, but like it hit me so hard. And I always used to write like life is happening for me, not to me. And in that moment, it was like everything made sense. And I feel like the answer is in you. That's a course that they have you take while you're doing the ayahuasca, like during the day, during the classes that you go to this class. It's called The Answer Is in You. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. But like in that moment, I just felt like I have all the answers. I know exactly who I am. Know exactly what I need. I am so powerful. I was created for me, like this life is all about me. But this life is all about you. This life is all about all of us. And like, that is so beautiful. Like in the sense that everything matters, but really nothing matters. And everyone cares about you, but really no one cares about you, which is both of those things are so cool. It's so cool. Like none of us are that special, but we literally are all so special. One of the first nights, this lady kept coming up to me and she'd be like, don't worry. Like you are perfect. I am perfect. We are all perfect. She said that so many times. And I was like, okay, girl. Okay. And in that ceremony, I was just like, oh my gosh, I am perfect. I have everything I need. And everything I'd learned in therapy, like literally everything I've ever been curious about was just making sense in my brain. I was having so many downloads. So while I'm in this, I'm literally laying there and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this was my awakening. I think I've had several awakenings in my life, but this was definitely one of them. I was literally like, I am Jay Shetty. I need to call Jay Shetty right now. It was so like, this is how he feels. It was so funny. So then I had a shaman like come to me because I was like feeling so much magic. I'm like, I need to talk to somebody about this. And the shaman came up to me. Her name was Sally, my dear Sally. I love her. And she was like, could definitely be my mom. And I was telling her about my OCD and I was just like, I am so confused because my intention is to heal through my OCD. But in this experience, I had such a big realization that like my OCD is not a bad thing. Sally helped me realize that like your OCD protected you. Like it was trying to protect you your whole life. And then I just started like, here you go. But like, I started sobbing because I was like this OCD, like I have friends and they're like, you need to talk to your OCD and be like, F you, like stay out of my life, like da da da. But for me, like my whole life, I don't like treating anyone like that. And so I don't want to treat someone in my brain like that either. And it was so hard for me to just be like, F you to this thing inside my brain, Even I try to come up with a name for it, but I'm like, what if I meet someone in my life with that name and then I feel bad about that? Like I just couldn't do that. And like, yeah, they even tell you to do that in therapy, like give it a name. And I couldn't. And like in this moment, when she said that to me, I just truly felt like my OCD was for sure meant to be in my life. It was my saving grace in a weird way. Like with all the chaos and things that were going on in my childhood, it was the thing that I felt like I had control over. Like touching things 4 times with my pinky because I thought my dad was going to die. Like it just gave me this sense that I could control something, like because I couldn't control other things in my life. And it was just kind of like this thing that I had that no one really understood, but like I understood it like in a weird way. So I realized in that moment, I was like, my OCD helps me be more intentional, more connected, more like makes my intuition stronger. Like, and I just truly felt in that moment, I can work with my OCD. And I need to say to my OCD, I love you so much. You have helped me and you have tried to help me stay so safe, but safety looks different now and we need to work together. And people always say you'll never get rid of your OCD, which I don't totally know. I don't have the answers to that still. But when I would say OCD or ADHD, people would be like, doesn't exist. You're going to get rid of it. And I would be like offended, like, girl, I've lived with this my whole life and you're just telling me it's going to go away. I'm like, don't say that to me. That hurts me. Like, because I don't think that's true. But like, I really do believe it. I don't know if those things will go away, but I definitely look at my OCD now as a superpower and my ADHD. Like these are things that are trying to protect me. And I think that they all come from such deep rooted trauma. It's not just this thing that just randomly popped up. Like I really believe that. And like, I totally respect people that take medicine for these things, but I truly hope that they can dig deep and figure out why these things are occurring in their life. And for me, it was because I didn't have this sense of control. And I think that's the majority of people that develop OCD. Just beautiful. Like I just really learned that I have to work with my OCD. I have to sit with my OCD in love and I have to, just view it differently. And now being home, like today even, like I'm about to start my period. So that's when usually my OCD is like thriving. Okay. But like being home, it's been a lot better because I've had these insights. Once you see this reality and you experience these feelings, you can't just forget that. You can't just let that just leave your life. Like every time I'm experiencing these crazy OCD thoughts and they are not as intense as before, I'm like, oh no, I just got to work with it. And it's hard. I have to remind myself I've lived with this my whole life. So it's not just going to leave, but now I know how to work with it. And I talk to my OCD and we are better friends now. And I know I already talked about this, but like the moment when I just felt so much gratitude for myself and I was so proud of myself and I just had this timeline of everything that's gone on in my life, like in front of me. And I just said, holy shit, everything that's happened truly happened for a reason. Every blade of grass is tilted in my mother freaking favor. Okay. And everything is happening for me. Even being home, like things have become so clear for me, like people in my life that I feel like maybe are using me or we're like not on the same page. Like before it was clear, but now it is so much more clear to me. And like, I'm so happy. Everything that happens, I'm like, that was supposed to happen for a reason. And I'm truly grateful. So then, I'm just sitting there and I'm just so high on life. And I just like want to talk to Sally for 10 years. And she's like, well, and everyone is leaving. Everyone's going, everyone's out of the medicine. And they like at the end of every ceremony, they're like, okay, everybody, it's morning. It's like light outside. You all go gather by the shaman and you just kind of, some people can share their experiences. I'm still sitting in my bed like this. Like just, oh my God. Like I cannot believe all this happened. I'm just so shocked. I can't even believe this is my reality. And I'm just like, I am a healer. I am magical. I am powerful. And this is wild, guys. Like people talk about Reiki and like spiritual powers, which I just haven't experienced. So I'm just like, I mean, I've experienced people's gifts, like people telling me things that I'm like, how did you know that? Or like, but in this moment, I was like, I literally felt like I got Reiki certified and that sounds insane, but I literally did. And this is going to sound insane. I would look at someone and you're still aware of everything while you're in this. Like you're in the medicine, but you're still a normal person. Like you still, like, it wasn't like, I didn't have any visions, like crazy visions. I kind of saw my life, but it wasn't like I was seeing different colors and anything. Like you're still there. And I literally would look at someone and I would tell them in my brain, come talk to me. And they would literally walk over and talk to me. And this happened 3 different times. Okay. I told a shaman in my head, I said, come talk to me. And this shaman actually was like a connection. One of my friends, it was his uncle. And so I actually was able to like talk to him and be like, hey, like, I know you're in this connection. Anyways, I looked at him and I said, come talk to me. And he like literally looked over at me and walked to me. It was crazy. I know this sounds insane. And then I looked at Sally and I wanted her to come talk to me. And I just looked at her. And I don't remember at what point in the night this was. I think maybe this was before she ever came and talked to me, but then she came and talked to me. And then I was just like looking around and someone I'd spoken to a lot. His name's Wesley. He was one of the guys that I came to ayahuasca with, like in the bus from the airport. We like all got in the bus together and that's where I met him. And I looked at him and then I just like looked away and I was like, I really want him to come talk to me. And he didn't even look at me. And I was just like, oh, he's not going to come talk to me. Literally 30 seconds later, I look up and he comes and talks to me. And I was like, we have so much magic. We have so many gifts in us, but we have to be open to receive them. Can I do that now? No, no, I haven't really thought about it. I haven't really tried. I don't feel that right now, but I like, whoa, I understood it. And in this moment, I really had the thought of like, I think different people experience this magic. They experience this enlightenment. And I think I could totally see how people can manipulate this. Like for me personally, I think that there's so much good in religion, but my view is that we need to be like loving ourselves, worshiping ourselves in a sense, and not someone else. I think that especially in this moment, I realized I have all the answers I'm looking for. My higher power has all the answers, and I needed to connect to myself so that I can connect better to them. And I realized in that moment, I'm like, I can see how people can manipulate this. I don't want anyone to worship me. No way. I want them to worship themselves. I want people to realize that the magic is in them, because that is when I felt the most enlightened. And I realized that like God or the universe or whatever it is created me to be here at this time. And I have the answers within me. I am powerful and I need to trust my own intuition. And yeah, so that night was just crazy. I was literally there, last one in the room every single night. I'm not joking you. I was the last one in the room. There's like 45 people, and every night they all go to their beds, they do their thing. And I'm just sitting there still in the medicine, just like little Jenna. Just so connected to my little inner child, just like felt so curious about everything that night. I was like, oh my gosh, the world is so magical. So then they were like, okay, you have to go back to your room. And I'm like, oh, and I learned how to ask for help here. Like I already knew how to ask for help a little bit, but like really, really learned. And so I was like, hey, I can't walk back to my room. And so, they like called a cart guy to come get me, and they came and got me in this little golf cart. And then, they like literally took me back to my room, and I was like, and they had to help me walk to the cart. Like I was still like drunk, I was still in the medicine. So then they like walked me back to my cart, and I was kind of nervous to go back to my room because I was in my room alone. And, but in this moment, like I felt way better about going back because I felt so connected to myself. I was so high on life. Okay. And so then he takes me to my room, and I'm like, can you actually walk me to my door? Which they really like push hard. Like you cannot have any, like no connection between the man and the woman, like, or like sexual things. Like that is not okay here. Like, that's not your intention. That's not why you're here. So I feel like this guy was kind of like, I don't think I can really take you back to your room, and I was just like, oh, and I was like, please, I can't walk. And so he just like walks me back to my room. And then I'm so drunk in the medicine, I cannot even open my freaking door. Like I'd put the key in, and I was like, it's not working. I'm like, this is not my key. So I'm just sitting there. He's just staring at me. I'm feeling so much pressure. So I finally unlock it. And then I just go back in my room, and I just like, as fast as I can, just like lay in my bed, because I'm just like, I want to keep thinking, like I'm getting all the answers right now. It's like I'm getting the best like lecture or talk I've ever heard in my life, but it's all just in my head. All the answers that I've ever wanted are just like in my head. Everything's connecting, my different behaviors that I have, why I don't trust people, like everything. Okay. And so I just want to play you guys this little video. I recorded everything. So I'm going to upload different videos, the ones I feel comfortable sharing, because they're just like so cute and tender. But this was my first video I recorded right when I got in my bed. It's just a short little snippet of like a 10-minute video, but
I just love myself so much, and I just feel so grateful to have found myself and to feel at home for the first time in my whole life.
Oh, just so tender. And I just remember thinking too, like this whole ceremony, like I feel safe in my body for the first time. I feel alive in my motherfucking body for the first time in my whole life. Like I feel so enlightened and so connected to my true self. And I feel at home. I truly feel at home, and it's not in someone else. It's not in a religion. It's not in this like crazy thing. It's just within myself. And it was so beautiful. And I just laid there literally all night. I was like, it was so early in the morning. I was just like laying in my bed, but I should have been sleeping because yoga's at like 8 a.m. And I really wanted to go, but I was like, I don't think that's a good option for me right now. I'm still drunk and I'm just having crazy thoughts. And so then I'm just laying in bed, and all of these answers are just floating in my head. And I'm just like, so excited about everything. I'm just like, can't even process what just happened, but I know it's all real, and I'm just so scared I'm going to forget it. So I keep recording videos, and yeah, it was just so beautiful. And then I'm just like, want to call people, but I know that I shouldn't call people because I don't want to say crazy things because I'm still in the medicine. So the only person I called was my friend Mike. He's amazing. And I just felt like he'd understand. And he knows me so well. And he's my roommate. And so he knows me so well. And so I knew I could talk to him. So I just FaceTime him. It's like literally 5, 6 in the morning for him. I don't even know. And I'm just telling him all these things. And he's just like, Wow. Like this is just the pure, good, amazing version. He's like, Jenna, there's so many things I've already told you in life. Like I always try to tell you and like explain to you, like, he's like, I feel like I understand your brain and I'm just like, want you to feel safe in your own body. And like, he's like, this is crazy because I was crazy for me because I'm like, all these things you've told me in life and advice you've given me, like it actually makes sense now. And I don't know. It was like everything that I've been told before just clicked, you know, and I really believed it. And for the first time, I actually felt like people really love me and they actually care about me. And I don't need to keep everybody at a distance anymore. I definitely think like we have to protect our energy. And so you need to like see who you actually want to give your time and attention to and make sure that they respect you. But you need to accept love, you know, and I was not doing that. It's still hard for me, but because I've had this experience, I'm like able to process it better. It was so sacred and so beautiful. And I'm sure I'll have so many more insights I'll share on other episodes. But yeah. So then the next morning, well, like it was still morning, but I fell asleep for a second and I woke up and just like, I can't believe I fell asleep. Oh my gosh. So I like had to woke up and I needed like more insights and I just kept begging the magic. I call it the medicine. I was like, magic, please stay with me. I need you here. Do not go away. Never go away. Like I need these insights. I need to feel this way all the time. So yeah, I was like, oh, I can't sleep. So I woke up again. And when I woke up, this was so cool. And I hope that I can explain it in a way that you can understand. But I don't know if you've seen A Little Princess. It is my favorite movie. It's like a war movie. I think it came out in like 1998 or something. My favorite movie ever. And if you've seen it or you haven't, there's this scene. She's like, her dad supposedly dies in this war. And she's like at this girl's school house. Like they just like take care of you and you go there. And so she was there, and she was like, her dad would pay for it. So she was like treated so good. She would go to the classes and there was like this orphan girl and she would like clean everything and Anyways, she found out her dad died and her mom had already passed away. And so then she became like the orphan girl and she had to do the cleaning for everyone and all these things. And hopefully this is making sense. If not, go watch the movie. Okay. But then, or look up this scene from this movie, please. But so she's an orphan with this other girl and they're like treated so poorly, so poorly. Like the teacher person lady overall, this is just horrible to her, obviously, because she's unhappy herself. And so many lessons from this movie also. Go watch it. And so there's this scene when there's like this guy that lives like, so here's their window and there's a guy that lives like the house next to them, the buildings next to them. He lives in there and he's just like this sacred, beautiful human. Like, and he, somehow he is like the magic. Okay. And I'm not doing this justice. Please go watch the scene. But one day they wake up and it's just like, oh, and this lady like wouldn't feed them sometimes. So they'd be like starving and they didn't have good clothes. They didn't have anything. And so, this guy like creates this magic in their room and like this like light comes in this air and the doors open and like this glitter comes into the room and it's just magic, like all this light. And like, I watched that movie probably every year of my life. If you know me, you know, I'm obsessed with it. And I've never known why I loved that movie so much. But when I woke up that morning in my bedroom, I literally felt the magic of that scene. It is so weird to describe and so crazy, but like the exact same way I felt watching that movie my whole life, I felt that come into my room and it was so beautiful, like so beautiful. And I just felt in that moment, I can accomplish anything I want to in this life. The world is my mother freaking oyster. And like, I'm so powerful. Like I have everything I need to become who I want to be. Something I've struggled on and off with in my life because I grew up pretty poor is like money. Like I have such a bad relationship with money. I'm so scared of money. And like, obviously I want to make money. And even with my company, like I've struggled with that. Like I put way more into it than like I get back money wise. And, but I'm okay with it because I love what I do. But I also am like, hey girl, we got to pay for some groceries here. So like, let's get this figured out. But in that moment, like I experienced what it's like to feel rich, which might sound weird. Like I had every feeling that I want to experience, being in a healthy relationship, having a healthy relationship with money, like all these different aspects of my life that I manifest in my journal every day. I felt the feeling of those feelings. And in that moment, I was like, I cannot accept anything but this. Like, I want to feel stable in these different aspects of my life. It was so beautiful and so cool. And also, I don't know if you've seen the movie 13 Going on 30, like, but the magic that she feels, like, I feel like when she decides to just like embrace who she is and then choose the right people in her life and then like create all these beautiful things and like kind of be her 13-year-old self again, but like in her actual body. Like that's how I felt. Like I need this light and love that my inner child has, and I need it now, and I need it to control my life, you know, not the other way around. Like yeah. And so it was so cool. I just felt so connected to this pure, beautiful version of me. And I just felt also the feeling of people loving me. I felt like that is so possible, and that is right in front of me. And so many people love me, which I did not realize before. Like I truly looked at people and I was like, yeah, they care about me, but like at what cost? You know, like what am I going to do that they're just going to leave me in my life? That is for sure how I felt in every relationship I have ever been in, including family. And yeah, I just like, for the first time in my whole life, felt loved, which is so crazy and such a beautiful feeling, you know? And like, there's little moments where I felt loved, like when someone remembers something cute about me and like, I'm just like, oh, or, you know, they like buy me flowers or like these little things. But like in that moment, it was the most pure form of love that I've ever experienced. And that whole night and like throughout this trip. Yeah. So the theme was just like, I have all the answers in my head. Like I truly felt like I was doing therapy in my head. Like I am my own best therapist. And I think that we do need other people in our lives for sure. But in that moment, I was like, you need to realize that you're so much more capable than you think you are. Okay. So I was just sitting in my room. Everything was magic. And I am like, holy shit. Like your whole purpose of coming to Rythmia is to experience this miracle. And like some people the first night have like these deep, dark experiences and it's like kind of scary. And I experienced my miracle in the first night. Like that's like a very low chance of that happening. I experienced my full ass miracle. I was literally like, I can go home. You know, I don't have to drink that tea again. Like I can get out of here. But I was like, no. Like I have to stay. I was just feeling so high on life, so lucky, but also kind of felt bad because I'm like, other people had the most horrendous night of their whole life. And also I didn't throw up one time. For me, like the medicine hits me and I have to go to the bathroom, have to take a little number 2. And so it either hits you in you throwing up or you have to go to the bathroom. Throwing up is spiritual and going to the bathroom is like you're letting go of physical trauma. And so it was very interesting because I feel like I was just releasing a lot from my physical body the whole time. Like this whole time, I did not throw up one time, which is pretty crazy because everyone around me is just throwing up. It's just a symphony of people throwing up and the whole night. So I wake up the next morning and also the medicine is still in use. So you just keep going to the bathroom literally the whole trip. You just have to go all the time. It's kind of annoying, but it's also like every time like you go to the bathroom or you purge, like by throwing up, they ask you to like ask the medicine, like, what am I letting go of? Like, what is this? What is this coming out of my body? So I'd like ask sometimes and it would be different answers. Like one of them was anger and another one was, and you hear it so clear. It's just like there, you're literally talking to your higher self and she's just giving you the answers, you know? But something crazy is like the medicine doesn't give you what you want. It never does. Like going into each ceremony, it never gives you what you want. It gives you what you need. Cause like the first night, that's not what I expected. I was like ready to go back, hug my inner child, talk to her about the trauma, experience the trauma again. I was ready to go back to my sexual abuse and experience that whole experience again. Like that did not happen one time for me. None of that, which is wild. And that's I thought that the whole time going into ayahuasca, that's what was going to happen, but it doesn't. Like they tell you, do not have expectations because that's not where you're going to go. Just have an intention. Okay. I'm going to share another video. This is the next morning when I finally decide to leave. There's been like, I missed yoga and then I'm actually missing another class, but I'm like, I feel like I'm learning so much from myself that I don't really need to learn from someone else right now. Cause this is so sacred and beautiful. And I don't know how long it's going to last. So then I actually had to call that cart guy cause I'm still drunk. I still can't walk. So he comes and picks me up and then they take me to the class that they had. But the second I walked out the door, I just want to play this other video for you.
I'm literally walking outside in awe right now because the colors are so vibrant and everything is so beautiful and it's just insane. I'm just like, this is my life and it's so magical.
I just have my jaw open.
And I don't need to control things, even though I can. I just sometimes get to sit in the stillness. I've fucking cracked the code, brothers.
Cracked the code, brothers. I was just feeling high on life and I just wanted to tell every single person I knew, but also I want to tell everyone, but I'm also a people pleaser. So like, I didn't want to tell people because I didn't want them to feel bad that they didn't have their miracle. Like I went into that class and everyone's just, they're like, who had their miracle? And like barely anyone is raising their hand. And I'm just like, I don't want to say it. Like, I don't want to say it, but I also want to share. So I was just like, yeah. Anyways, the rest of the day I was so happy and I felt so lucky and so proud of myself, especially for the preparation I did, because I feel like the preparation I did played so much into this, you know? And then I started feeling a little bit scared to do it again. Like I was just like, holy shit, that was a lot to process. And like going through that again, and it's a lot of work. And yeah, it was just such a beautiful and sacred experience. And I have so much more to share. And I don't want these episodes to go like 2 hours long. So we're going to do a part 3 for sure. And I am going to answer more questions. A lot of people asked, like, was it similar to mushrooms? And yes, it was, but it was way more sacred. And then other people asked, did it help with your anxiety and depression? Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So more answers to come, and I'm so excited. And thank you guys so much for listening to this journey, because it is the most sacred thing that has ever happened to me in my whole life. And I feel so lucky that I listened to my intuition and then I went to Rythmia. And just remember that every blade of grass is tilted in your favor, and that things are not happening to you. They are happening for you. And I know, like, the hardest things that you're just like, no way, this is happening for me. I swear to you, I bear testimony that that is happening for you. Okay. I truly believe it with my entire soul. And the magic is in you. Please do not forget that the magic is freaking in you. And I'm hosting a whole retreat saying the magic is in you, because I just need people to understand this. And yeah. Also, I'm going to work with Rythmia too. That is my goal, and to have people be able to go, maybe at a discounted price. So if you're interested in going, please DM me and I can help you. I literally talked to every single person there because I was obsessed with everyone. I was so high on life. And so yeah, we can definitely work something out. So please DM me, and I love you, and have the most sacred special day. And remember that you are a rock star, and that you can do anything that you want, and you are in control. Amen.